What's up, everyone? Welcome to Lowered Expectations. Thanks for lowering your expectations and hanging out with me here. I do appreciate it. A few videos back, I used an old cookie tin as a makeshift cooktop. I ran the exhaust off of my diesel heater into the cookie tin and I was able to cook a hot dog as well as an egg. I don't recommend that you guys do this, but it did work quite well and it sparked quite a bit of interest in the comment section. Some of you guys had some really interesting ideas that I might be trying in the future, but in today's video, we are going to try one idea in particular. A viewer named Pubhead from Calgary, that's where I am, came up with an idea to actually use a second diesel heater as a heat exchanger. You guys probably know that these diesel heaters have a heat exchanger built into them. The fan from the heater blows air over that heat exchanger, and that is how you actually get the heat from the combustion into the area that you're trying to heat. We are going to attempt to run the exhaust out of one heater into the inlet of this heater and then out through the exhaust. The idea is we will be able to capture that heat energy and not have nearly as much waste. Is this going to work at all? If it does work, are we actually going to be able to capture some heat? If we are actually able to capture some heat, is it going to build up so much condensation that it chokes itself out? If it doesn't choke itself out, are we going to build up a huge amount of soot, smoke, and all sorts of nasty? These are all questions that we are going to attempt to answer in this video. I am going to be venting the gases from this experiment inside of my garage so that I can collect the data. Some people in my previous videos don't seem to understand that if you vent the gases outside, checking the air quality inside of your garage does not do any good. I absolutely do not recommend that you guys do this, but I am using a carbon monoxide detector as well as an air quality detector. I suspect that there is going to be some pretty poor quality air inside of my garage, but I am doing this as part of a test. Should you do this? No. It needs to be about 2 feet tall. You guys leave your guesses in the comments below as to what's going to happen here. I think for the initial startup, what I'm going to try to do is start the 2 kilowatt heater first, see if it will even start while running through the other heater. There might be too much back pressure. I'm going to start it on setting 1, so the lowest setting. And we are going to try to turn this on at just a few minutes after that turns on, because the ECU on this heater needs to see temperature here or some heat in the heat exchanger before it will actually speed the system up. So hopefully this works. I'm not really sure, but we're going to find out. I did have to remove the fan from this because, oh, we got smoke. I had to remove the combustion air fan from the 5 kilowatt unit because it would have melted. It might not be able to start with that much back pressure. Oh, I hear it. Okay, let's start this one. Oh, it flamed out. Interesting. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, we're gonna have to disconnect the exhaust. I don't think it's gonna start like this. Uh-oh, what's happening? Oh, crap. It's working, but my fan is rubbing. I forgot about my fan. I didn't adjust it. I forgot to adjust the fan. Oops. I'm going gonna turn on the app so I can monitor the body temperature of the 2 kilowatt. That's getting hot, but this is just barely warm and the air isn't even flowing yet. So the body temperature, there's a lot going on right now. The body temperature on the 2 kilowatt is 103 Celsius, so not crazy. I'm gonna speed this up because this needs to get hotter. We're gonna go up to setting 5. We need this to get hot or it's gonna shut down. So far, this isn't overheating. I'll monitor the temperature on the 2 kilowatt. We only got 18. Unless this gets over like 60, I don't think it'll keep running. Still only 106 on this one. I've got it cranked up to 10 now. So the actual problem we're having is this is working too efficiently. So that's good news and bad news. I know what I can do. I can slow this down, idiot. How about we slow this down to 3? And we'll see if that goes up, because currently I can quite literally hold my fingers right on where the exhaust is going in from the 2 kilowatt. After a few like it's starting to get hot now, but this is only like 45, maybe 45 degrees Celsius. Meter said a high of 35.8. 2 kilowatt heater is up to 162 Celsius on the heat exchanger. So what I think I might do is take the heater apart, take the thermocouple and actually attach it some way to the exhaust so that we get enough temperature so that this fan will keep spinning. The carbon monoxide levels inside of my shop are reading 0. Let's see what they're reading right at the exhaust. Okay, so carbon monoxide levels are, E8. This thing flamed out. It had no flame and it flamed out. So the carbon monoxide levels are higher than normal. That could be because this is restricting airflow. This actually worked way better than I thought, and so I'm going to go through the trouble of making a few changes. I think it's probably safe to reinstall the combustion air fan. I don't think it's gonna melt. If it does, I'll be sad, but we're just gonna live with that. I'm also going to take the thermocouple or thermistor, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I'm going to remove that from the heat exchanger and try to fasten it to the exhaust pipe so that the ECU on the 5 kilowatt heater actually believes that it is reaching temperature. And so the fan will reach full speed and it will continue running without throwing an error code. Anyway, I'm going to pull it apart, I'll do all that stuff, and then I guess I'll see you guys when I get that sorted. As unhealthy as it is, I'm kind of hoping that it makes a big smoke show like it did last time, because it looked pretty cool and there was actually smoke shooting out where the fuel line normally connects. All right, let's tape the whatever this thing is to the exhaust. We can probably get away with using the electrical tape right on the exhaust. I am concerned about if the exhaust just goes directly in and hits the combustion fan, if it will melt it. So I don't want it sitting in one space. This should actually help the 2 kilowatt start, because now the combustion air fan in the 5 kilowatt is drawing the air through. So we might see it start easier this time without a bunch of smoke. I don't know if you guys can see the numbers on the meters here, but we've got almost no HCHO, TVOC, or carbon dioxide. Carbon monoxide is also at 0. Temperature on the thermistor is 20 degrees Celsius. Let's see if we get a bunch of smoke. We got some. This is very weird, folks. There's two different fuel pumps going at the same time. The fan might actually be going too fast on the 5 kilowatt unit and sucking too much air through. Because we're now using the fan on the 5 kilowatt, it is sucking too much air through the 2 kilowatt and actually causing it to have trouble starting. It's still going up, but it's going up slow, and you can see it's a lot of smoke. It's not burning clean. You can see the carbon monoxide has gone up, as has the TVOC and CO2. So I'm going to open a door here. It's not good, folks. It's not good. Okay, flame out on the 2 kilowatt. If you're enjoying the video, please remember to leave a thumbs up. It only takes a minute and it lets YouTube know that you like this video and maybe they should share it with some other people. I don't make a lot of money off these videos, but it is my only form of income throughout the winter, so I could definitely use your help. If you're interested in purchasing a diesel heater, there will be an affiliate link as well as a discount code in the description below. I decided to fire the 2 kilowatt heater up and let it burn off some of the nasty stuff that probably built up from that silly test. So what we're doing over here is cleaning out the inlet area because we got a little bit of buildup inside of here. I've already cleaned most of it, but there was some diesel particulate wet stuff inside of here. So I've removed the fan and I've cleaned up most of this stuff. And that way we can run it and whatever is in there we know is fresh stuff. If there's a bunch of buildup of soot or anything inside here, we know it was from our next test and not from the one that we've already done. I just thought of something that I probably should have thought of before, and that is that we should actually check the exhaust while it's running normal so that we can then compare those numbers to when it's running through the other heater. Alright, so under 30 parts per million for the carbon monoxide, and I'm not reading anything for TVOC or formaldehyde or CO2, so it is running very clean. I have a piece of 14 gauge solid strand copper wire that I'm going to use to hold the thermistor to the exhaust. That should work. We are here to answer the type of questions that nobody has asked. That's what we do here. Now that we have the fan removed from the 5 kilowatt, I don't have to worry about pulling air through the 2 kilowatt, but I still am going to allow it to warm up a little bit because, yeah, we're kind of walking a fine line between the 5 kilowatt not getting hot quick enough and being too hot when it tries to turn on. If it's too hot when it tries to turn on, it will actually wait till it cools down. So it's currently at 22 Celsius. That should be fine. Now that I've waited that long, hopefully it's okay. The 2 kilowatt just started pumping and it fired immediately. The temperature on the 5 kilowatt is showing 20 degrees Celsius. I know you guys can't see that from there very likely. It's looking good so far. Not a huge amount of smoke this time. $22, $24. All right. Looks like it's gonna work. 26. So this temperature is the thermistor on the exhaust, or the thermocouple on the exhaust. And it needs to warm up in order for the 5 kilowatt heater to continue working. If it doesn't get hot, the heater will think it flamed out and it'll shut itself down. 38 Celsius, 40. There is the thermocouple held on with the wire. I can easily hold my hand on the pipe here and it's not even remotely uncomfortably warm. Let's see if we can get a reading on the tape. It's saying 28 Celsius, 27. I think if it gets to 60, it'll stay running. Meanwhile, over on the 2 kilowatt, we're up to 133 Celsius. There we go, 60 degrees. 60 degrees on that thermocouple. All right, folks, everybody loves a good temperature check, so let's do it. We've got 150 Celsius on the body of the 2 kilowatt heater. We've got 68 Celsius on the thermocouple that's on the exhaust. So that's going into the 5 kilowatt heater. And coming out, we are at 31 degrees, 32 degrees Celsius at the exhaust here coming out. You can quite clearly see I can put the back of my hand on this pipe, no trouble whatsoever. Doesn't, not even slightly uncomfortable. I'm interested to see what the temperature of the actual body of the heater is. So what is the temperature of the air coming out of here? And that is 24, about 24 degrees Celsius, 23 or 24. So yeah, this seems like if you have a broken or spare heater kicking around, you could hook 12 volts to the fan and get a lot of heat out of your system. You're not losing, it's a pretty efficient way to do it. Maybe not cost effective, but efficient. I'm not gonna run this stuff forever, but I am gonna leave it for probably 20 minutes and then I'll come back and see if the temperatures have somewhat stabilized. The carbon monoxide in here isn't dangerous just in the general area, but it is dangerous in the way that it could change quickly. So I'm not gonna hang out in here. The TVOCs are a little bit too high for my liking, as is the carbon monoxide and CO2. So I'm actually gonna go in the house. We'll leave this run for about 20 minutes. And then I'm curious to see if we turn the heat setting down, we could have some issues. But basically what I'm curious, if we turn the heat setting down to 5 on the 2 kilowatt heater, are we going to get the same carbon monoxide levels coming out of the 5 kilowatt? I'm thinking that we could be getting a little bit too much restriction through the 5 kilowatt heater. So the next thing that we can try to do, if you guys want to see that, maybe in another video, is actually remove the burn chamber altogether. What I would like to do is remove the burn chamber, feed the heater the same way, but use a 5 kilowatt heater to feed it. So currently I'm using a 2 kilowatt heater to feed into a 5 kilowatt heater. And my thoughts are that I think it's a little bit too restrictive with the burn chamber. So I'm gonna come back and then we'll set it down to setting 5 and see if the carbon monoxide kind of normalizes a bit. All right. Jumping up over 30 pretty quickly. 48, 51. It's not something that you want to hang around in all day, that's for sure. 62, 64. All right, after sitting here a few minutes, the highest I saw was 73, and it seems to have stabilized around 70. The body of the heater on the 2 kilowatt is 166 degrees Celsius. It is on setting 10. The thermocouple on the exhaust of the 5 kilowatt is 80 degrees Celsius. 29 or 30, between 29 and 31. Seems to have settled at 30 degrees Celsius. The heat exchanger itself 23, 24, between 23 and 25. This actually seems to work really well, except for the fact that we do have more carbon monoxide coming out of here, so that's definitely not good. That, once again, is likely because we have a restriction. So we're gonna let it run for a few minutes on level 5, and we'll come back and check all these numbers. It was 70 last time. We are already way past 70. 139, so yeah. My theory about it cleaning up when you slow it down, not standing up to scrutiny. I'm okay with being wrong. This does prove that any sort of changes that you make to the combustion chamber, the flow of gases through the heater, makes a huge difference. We just went from 70, well, it was what, 30 parts per million without going into the heater, 70 parts per million with the heater on high, and 280 parts per million with the heater on setting 5. I'm gonna cut the clip and come back. I will leave this sit here for a couple of minutes. All right, it looks like it has stabilized and there's not a lot of crazy fumes over there, so I'm happy with that. Now let's take a look at the temperatures. We will start with the 2 kilowatt heater. The temperature on the body of the 2 kilowatt heater is 141 Celsius. That is pretty normal. The temperature on the thermocouple on the exhaust is 64, so it went down about 20 degrees Celsius. And lastly, I guess there's 2 more things to check here. The temperature on this has gone down from 30 to 32 to 27. So it was around 30 before, it is now 27. And the last thing is this. It was 24, 25, and now we are 19 or 20. Oh boy. That's quite a bit. That's quite a bit of water. All right, I'm gonna take this over to the bench and we'll try to take it apart while it's standing up, and maybe that will trap the water in there. I've pulled this apart and you can quite clearly see there's a bunch of condensation on here. Oh, and a bunch that just fell out of there. I'll soak that up with this rag, and you can see quite obviously a bunch of condensation, not a lot of soot. I expected to see much more soot, but it is actually quite clean inside of here, so that's good. Okay, let's pour out the condensation here. Keep in mind, this is only a tiny bit of it. Most of it was actually leaking out through this hole here. I was in the house eating some Doritos and I thought to myself, I should stuff the burn chamber full of Doritos. As you guys can see, quite a bit of water. A little bit pooling in the bottom there. Cool. All right. Nothing really inside here. Let's get this back together. Should I put chips in there? Nah, I think we got some other tests to do. This, of course, was a very short-term test. I ran the 2 heaters connected together for about a day, and so if you ran it permanently this way, you might eventually have some issues. That being said, from the data that we did collect, I don't think it would be a problem. There was no soot or ash, and the condensate that built up was actually dripping out of the heater fast enough that I don't think it would become a problem. There were issues with carbon monoxide and TVOCs coming out of the exhaust outlet when it was running through the heat exchanger, and we don't know if there's any way to actually address that. If you guys would like to see me perhaps remove the combustion chamber and do some more testing, or maybe orient the heater in a different way to see if we can get it to completely fill up? Let me know in the comment section below. If you have any sort of other weird ideas, let me know them as well. I wanted to run this test using the ECU from the 5 kilowatt heater, but of course that is completely unnecessary. As long as you had a fan blowing over the heat exchanger, it doesn't matter really how fast that fan was turning. So you could hook it directly up to a 12 volt power source, or something that was variable would probably be a better idea. Anyway, that is going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for your ideas. I will see you next time.